Thank you. All right, good evening. This meeting is now called to order. This is Public Safety Committee meeting for May 12th, 2025, and I'm the chair, Councilmember Yolanda McCoy for the 6th District. At this time, I will call the roll call for those members of the committee first. Councilman Spadola.
Present.
Councilwoman Bracy. Councilwoman Darby. Councilman Johnson. Councilman Johnson, I think you're muted. Okay. Councilwoman Oliver. And President Conga. Okay. All right. Now, I do believe I just heard Councilman Oliver respond. Councilman Johnson is present, but he has not responded yet.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Here.
All right.
Present.
All right. Thank you very much for responding. Okay, as a friendly reminder, only the members of the committee will be making any motions and seconding. So I just wanted to let you know that this agenda actually only has 2 resolutions and 1 presentation. We will have a resolution approving the police department's grant application to the State of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund, SLEAF, to replace existing equipment. Now, I said, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little more about this resolution?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Chief Wilfredo Campos, just want to say good afternoon to council members here, Councilman Spadola, and those online as well, and everyone else. Yes, ma'am, this is a grant offered by the State of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund. We are eligible to apply for $86,000 in grant funding. We have applied for grant funding for 2 projects. $28,000 would allow for the purchase of 10 LifePak 1000 automatic external defibrillators to replace outdated, non-functioning equipment. This equipment is carried in patrol vehicles and is critical to support police officers as they render emergency aid to individuals experiencing sudden cardiac arrest while awaiting the response of EMTs and paramedics. Additionally, $58,000 would allow for the replacement of flashlights that are mounted on department-issued weapons to help better provide illumination and safety. This will replace equipment that has been in service for more than 10 years. And as always, this grant does not have any matching funds that are required.
Okay. All right. Does any of my council colleagues have a question about this resolution? Okay. Seeing none, is there anyone from the public who has any questions? Okay. All right, actually, just have one question, Chief. Wanted to find out whether or not the time frame for the flashlights is 10 years. What is the time frame for the LifePak? Is that 10 as well?
I don't have that available, but I could tell you that the ones we do have they've been in there quite a while. And, with the use and the heat and the cold and so forth and so on, we do want to make sure that they are working when we do need them and deploy them into the public.
Is there a defibrillator in every car, every vehicle?
We try to put one in every patrol vehicle that's out there.
Okay, and so then how many would you say you have?
So right now, we just recently replaced with the same grant. Last year, we replaced 10 of them. I believe we're around 30 to 40 AEDs, but I can get you the exact number because they do, some of them are not functioning. So we have to make sure that we keep up with that.
Okay, so these things cannot be refurbished or sent anywhere, they just have to be destroyed? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for answering that question. All right, and so, seeing that this is a resolution, seeing that this is a resolution that does not have to be voted out, do you have a time frame when we'll be bringing this to full council, Kendra? It may be after the budget. Okay.
June 5th.
Is it June? Okay, thank you. So June 5th, I'm imagining it'll be for both. June 5th is when we'll have this on the full floor and be voted on by all the council. Okay? All right. And We welcome Councilman Oliver. So the next resolution is, it is a resolution approving the police department's grant application to the state of Delaware's SLEEF Fund for the purchase of new equipment. Okay. And Chief, if you wouldn't mind explaining that to us as well?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is another grant offered by the State of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund. We are eligible to apply for $63,000 in grant funding. In this one, we applied for the grant to fund two projects. $38,000 would allow for the purchase of a new Zodiac rescue boat. It's a Zodiac boat is basically a small vessel that can be easily transported and quickly deployed to water rescue or flooding incidents. Our current boat that we have now, it's about 25 years old and in need of replacement. And this would come in very handy, like the flood that we had a few years ago up on the northeast. And the second, $25,000 would allow us to purchase a concession trailer and accessories, which can be used during our monthly community resource fairs, outreach walks, open houses, recruitment events, as well as other community outreach initiatives, and will help us as we serve food and distribute information and materials to the public. And as the other one, there are no matching funds required for this grant as well.
Okay. And so, I'm sorry, so this is a trailer, a concession trailer?
Yeah, it's a small trailer that can be hitched up to an SUV or even to the little sport utility vehicles that we have, that we can take them out to special events, community events, and things of that nature.
Okay. All right, thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any questions?
Sure. Thank you. You said
Councilman
this-
Oliver? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So you said this would be basically like a boat that they were trying, that the ones they used over to Lake
Councilman
Flood,
Oliver?
it was the rescue boat. Is
Could
that
you adjust
okay?
your mic?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, your mic.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm okay now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a rescue boat?
Yes,
And like
it's a
over-
small boat, yeah, that we can deploy.
Thank you. This one. Just a follow-up.
Yes, you may.
I'll follow up offline. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I said, well, is there any other council that had questions? All right. Does anyone from the public have any questions about this resolution?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You may.
Can I go up to the podium?
Yes, please. And you can introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kendra McDowell. I'm from the city of Wilmington, not a specific area. I understand that you're here asking for, am I supposed to address y'all?
Yes, trust.
Asking for grant money towards a rescue boat, as well as flashlights,
Yes.
a concession stand. From my understanding, I do believe that you guys had purchased a rescue boat. I think it's called the Silver something in 2004. Is there something wrong with that rescue boat, or does it need things fixed on it, or would anybody be able to answer that for me after I get done? And then as far as flashlights, do we need more flashlights? Like, seriously?
Yes, we do.
And is there a reason why you need flashlights? Because it seems like every time you're coming up towards a budget meeting, what's,
You can have sense in her, not
okay.
what you don't.
Yeah.
every time that we're speaking on as far as you guys coming and asking for more money, it's like for flashlights and different things like that. And I feel as though I'm trying to just figure out how long does the flashlights have work that you guys have now currently.
The ones that are on there now have been on the weapons for about 10 years.
Okay. At what point will we start asking for additional money for training for the police officers? Because we have seen that there have been multiple officers brought up
Ms.
this
Keandre?
year. Yes.
Okay, yeah, we wanted to make certain that we stayed to the actual, what's on the agenda. We just wanted to discuss the resolution. And
The
it was just-
resolution is
Yeah,
for them asking for, I believe, what, 63,000 towards the rescue boat and something else.
Yes, it's actually two. So there are two different resolutions. The one we're
One for the
discussing, the one we're
AIDs
discussing
or
now.
AEDs or something like that, and then that with the flashlights, and then that other one's for the concession stand in the boat.
Yes.
Correct.
So it is, just to give you clarity, this is a Zodiac rescue boat, and then also the trailer. This is the last one that we're discussing.
Okay. So as far as the trailer, what exactly are we using for this trailer? I don't understand why we were asking for a concession stand.
It's a
Are we throwing
concentric
parties?
trailer, not a stand. And the trailer is basically for when we do our community resource fairs or resource walks. There's a lot, sometimes there's heavy pallets of water or food that needs to be carried to the areas where the people are, sometimes in encampments. And in order to do that, this will help alleviate some of the, I guess, the load of having to put this in separate vehicles. We can put it all in one, go out to the areas where the folks are, and then be able to distribute those items.
So are we using the van that you guys have out already too? The one that
We're using
you guys-
whatever we can right now. So sometimes,
The one that I see riding around the city?
yeah,
The one
sometimes-
that you guys removed the bench from the Friendship House, we were using that one?
Ms. Kendra, if you can allow them to answer the question.
I will.
Thank you.
yeah, the trailers also support our nonprofit agencies that come out with us. Sometimes they bring equipment and supplies as well, or information that they want to give out to the community. And it makes it a whole lot easier to just have it on one trailer as opposed to everyone trying to carry all these different items.
I understand that.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else that you guys are asking for? Because I believe it's other unrelated, other expenses that don't have like a reason for what you need the expenses for.
No, this is just for these two resolutions.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So if there are no other questions, I just want to make you aware that this is a resolution and it does not have to be voted out of the committee. And we will be looking at this coming to the full council on the floor on June 5th. Okay? All right. So thank you very much for bringing this information to us and being able to answer those questions immediately.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, council members.
All right. Okay, we have a presentation. I've been looking forward to this. All right, so we have a presentation on the first quarter report of 2025 for Dr. Deborah Mason from the Community Public Safety Initiative. She's our coordinator. Dr. Mason?
It's okay. Can I stand? Can I stand?
Oh, yes, you may.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Dr. Deborah Mason. I am the Community Public Safety Initiative Coordinator. I just want to acknowledge the amazing team that just walked in, that we walked around the city of Wilmington today and handed out flyers. We're having a big community event tomorrow where we'll provide food and free clothing and shoes and everything to the community. So thank you to my team who walked all around the city with us today, so thank you. So in regards to the presentation, if we can go ahead and start. Sorry. Oh, here we go.
Did you need to go to the next page?
Yes, please, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Thank you.
Please,
There we go.
thank you.
So first and foremost, I just wanted to acknowledge the team members, Network Connect and Center for Structural Equity, that together formed the Wilmington Street team. We can go ahead to the next one. This slide, I'm sure you have seen many times, but it's also, it's always very useful to really acknowledge, or to identify the areas that we're in right now for the Wilmington Street team. So we're in the Prices Rent area, and we have identified those as zones 1 through 4, and we're on the east side, which are identified as zones 5 through 8. And the reason that we do this is so that when we encounter individuals in these areas, we don't have to take their addresses. We can just identify what zones they're in, and that kind of gives us a little bit more freedom to say to the individual, like, listen, your information is not being held on to, and in no way people are ever going to know that, you know, you're the person who is asking for help. We just identify what zone they live in. So to the next one, please. So this is for the first quarter. Every day, Dr. Karras from the Wilmington Police Department emails me all the dispatch calls that happened the previous night. I just want to say that today I received the email, which is always good to receive, that over the weekend, the 2 districts that we currently serve, there were no dispatch calls in either district, so that's always a great email to receive in the morning. But every day we receive the dispatch calls, we document those, and then we document how many times we all go out into the community and encounter with individuals in those various zones. For example, Zone 1 may have had 5 dispatch calls, but we try to get out there at least 15 encounters with the community. So we try to always either triple the amount of encounters that we are having towards compared to the dispatch calls. So for comp stats for the first until ending in March 31st. You can see in District 11, we were down 29% for the year to date. District 13 has been, it got a lot going on over there, and it was up 10%. However, we're relatively new in that area. We have been serving that area since the inception of the program, but we recently were able to get a hub over there, and the traction is starting to pick up. So we're having more people come to the hubs. We actually had several people show up today to take showers and get resources at the hub. So that's relatively new, and we're trying to still get support over there for that location. Next slide, please. So this is the community encounter. So every day, we track how many encounters the team has done throughout the day. For example, today, we did a community walk, but throughout that community walk, there were times when we may have, talked to an individual. They may have asked us what resources we have available. I know we had a conversation with a gentleman about size 13 sneakers, and he was like, I need some sneakers, y'all. Can y'all give me size 13? So that's the type of interaction that we have on a regular basis with individuals when we do community walks. So like I said, every day the community encounters are taken in, and this is for the first 90 days. This is how many community encounters we have had in every zone. For example, you can see in zone 3, we had 87 community encounters, but you'll be able to see that we also had a higher number of dispatch calls in the locations where the encounters are higher. We also take note of outside of zone 1 through 8, we do have situations where we have to go outside of our zones and deal with individuals, somebody who may need help maybe over on the west side, and the team knows that individual will go over there and engage with that person. So those are also documented. Next slide, please. Then this is the dispatch calls. Like I was saying, every day I get the dispatch calls from a WPD, and those are documented. For example, in zone 1, there was 1 dispatch call in the first 90 days. But as you can see in zone 3 and zone 6, we had higher numbers of dispatch calls, so that will lead to more encounters throughout that neighborhood. And then the next slide, and this is where we're going to be able to see the comparison. So for example, in zone 1, we had 42 encounters, but we only had 1 dispatch call. So the goal here is to increase the amount of encounters that we have with the community so that the dispatch calls go down. So that we can, if an individual, may go out and rob a store, we encounter that person before it gets to that point, and we're able to say, what do you need? Do you need food? Do you need shoes? Do you need diapers? Because those are all the things that cause individuals to go out and commit these crimes. 9 times out of 10, it's out of a need. It's a necessity that's not being met. So we try to get to that person or find out what's going on and meet that need so they don't have to go out and commit a crime. So as you can see, zone 3, 87 to 12. Zone 4, 51 encounters, but we only had 8 dispatch calls. Zone 6 and Zone 3 are usually our highest 2 places where we have the highest number of dispatch calls. And as you can see in Zone 6, we had 71 encounters, but we only had 20 dispatch calls. So the goal is to try to triple the amount of dispatch calls that we have in a location so that we, can find out what's going on in that area and try to help an individual.
Okay, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Wanted to find out whether or not, is there any way for us to see kind of where you've come from? Like, I guess you could probably send us a report by email showing us where you started at 2023, I guess?
Absolutely. Yes.
To where we are now. Okay.
Absolutely. I can definitely do that.
I'll wait till you finish, because that's the question I want to hear the answer now, since we hear this.
Oh, I didn't know whether or not she had it, but yes, if you have.
No, I don't have that information. I can pull it up. It's, everything is tracked. So we have all that data. So I can pull the data and show you and send it to you exactly to show you how far we've come and how we've increased the amount of encounters in every neighborhood. Then for the next slide, if you could go to the next slide. Just really want to highlight our hubs in both areas. Our first hub is 914 North Pine Street, and then our other hub is 2214 North Market Street over on North Side. East Side hub for the first quarter, we provided 120 bus passes, 109 people received clothing, over 600 meals were served in the first 90 days, and then 21 community members took showers, and probably more than 60 loads of clothes were washed in that hub. So people come over there. We have individuals who come maybe on a Friday and will wash clothes in regards to their children, being able to make sure their kids can get to school on Monday morning and have clean clothes. So those are the little things that really matter in our neighborhoods. And then on the North Side Hub, 578 meals were provided. 7 people took showers. Again, like I said, this is a newer hub. Narcan kits are always distributed in both hubs. Numerous community members were provided clothing. Individuals received diapers, and also referrals to other agency. And that's one thing about the Wilmington Street Team, is that if we can't help you, we try to find somebody who can. You know, we can't do it all. If there is a resource that you may need that we can't get to, we'll say, here, this is the person you need to talk to. And oftentimes the team will reach out to the person in advance and say, hey, this person is coming to you. They need this type of help. What can you do to help them? A lot of times individuals will call somebody and, you know, if they have to press or a number or wait too long, they'll just hang up, and they really need the help. So what we try to do is walk them through that process and let them know, like, listen, there is help. You might be patient, but we'll make sure you get it. So, and then the last slide is just my information. And then it gives the executive directors for Network Connect and the Center for Structural Equity, Sierra Hall Hipkins and Daryl Wolfie Chambers, who is here. Oh, Sierra's here today as well. Thank you, Sierra. So both of the executive directors for the organizations are here. If you have any other questions for me, they could probably help answer them as well.
All right, Councilman Oliver, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have several questions. I think the hubs are doing a great job, but over in Zone 3, where there has been 27 shootings in the Northeast area, I'm wondering, what is the impact? Are you knocking on doors? I mean, washing clothes and feeding people is always good. You know, we can't knock that. I mean, besides the electric bills, you can wash my clothes, right? But I'm saying, far as all these shootings over there, I mean, I've been over there on 22nd Street, three shootings in one day. I was over there Saturday. I think you told me you stopped by one day, but I've been over there. I haven't seen anybody over there in the last 2 days I've been over there. Maybe it was different times. But besides that, because you can't be everywhere all the time, I'm wondering, when these shootings are occurring and you may be there for a minute, is there any follow-up? And if you don't have the answer, but some of that stuff is just generic. I don't need anybody else to come up here. I'm just asking you, since you're the director, right?
Yes, we actually do. We actually had follow-up today. That's one of the reasons why we were out in the area where the shooting took place. Sierra Hall Hipkins went out and got information and resources for the families. So we were in that neighborhood, and that's where we did the community walk at. So, and then over the weekend, the teams usually don't work on the weekends unless there is a shooting, that we'll go out and interact with the family or find out what's going on. But we are Monday through Friday. And the community walks happen. There's no real rhyme or reason for why the community walks happen or where they happen at. If something happens that we need to show up, we go there. But the team does have a set amount of community walks they do every month. But if more needs to happen, we will go out there more often. And like I said, today we were in the area where the shootings happened. So the team is out there, and they are in the hub, but, our team is very small.
Follow-up?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you seeing a difference in the crime and the violence rates in neighborhoods you're serving compared to the neighborhoods you're not serving? And if yes, could you provide some examples?
Absolutely. Definitely East Side. East Side has been impacted greatly by the hub. I can't even tell you how many people we have in and out that hub every single day who need different types of resources. And yes, some folks may not see the value of a shower or new clothes. I'm not saying you in particular.
Oh, no, never that. I mean,
Yeah.
that wasn't my point when I said it.
Yes.
I was talking about more engagement. I wasn't talking about a shower or clothes. I worked at Connections for years.
Yes.
So everybody needs a shower. Everybody needs to change clothes. I'm speaking from the meeting I just had with residents in the Northeast area, talking about how they only see you if an incident occurs. And I said, well, that's when they would really show up. So I'm saying this so they can hear, so you can explain to them. So I wasn't being sarcastic. I was just, because they mentioned the hub, and since you brought that up, the one guy said he goes there to the hub, he gets his clothes washed, he eats, but he doesn't have any issues going on, where his brother is out there, has drug addiction, et cetera. And I guess you're not doing no outreach to his brother, but he takes advantage of the food. So I didn't think it was anything wrong with, but just listening to all that at the meeting, I just want to bring it to your attention.
Well, I have to say, the team, they do outreach. I've seen them. I've been out there with them. There's numerous times we've went down to the Sunday Breakfast Mission and tried to talk to the community and the individuals who are there. I know that we are actually working on one young lady today to try to get her into rehab. The thing is, you can't force them.
I know.
You can only make it available. So they are out there, they do community walks, they're walking through the neighborhoods, they're talking to the people. The other thing that's really important is that the individuals who are on the Wilmington Street team live in these neighborhoods. So to be out there, they're there, they live there, they are there 24 hours a day, that they have access to these individuals. So they can come and talk to them and say, hey, I need help, or this is what's going on. But we are always accessible, always, everyone. They have my phone number, they have many of the team's phone numbers. But I deal with individuals every day who are in active addiction, who just don't want help. We still, the next day, we're back out there again, like, you ready today? So it's.
And Madam Chair, this is my last
Actually,
one.
I'm
This
sorry,
is my
Councilman
last-
Alva, I had a question as well.
Go ahead,
I had a
go
question
ahead.
talking about the hubs. So actually, initially, the CPSI, the hubs is actually like icing, it was gravy. It was something extra.
Yes.
If you take the hub away, what was the true plan?
Well, the plan was for individuals just to basically like pop up in different parts of the district and to do walks and to talk to people. But the hub was something that I knew we had to have. We had to have a base. We had to have a place where individuals, if we didn't provide showers or clothes or whatever it was, we still needed a place for the team to be able to go and just talk and debrief and find out what's going on and be able to have meetings and say what resources we have available. The hubs were definitely icing on the cake. And the fact that we have those, especially in that area, I definitely think it has greatly impacted the neighborhood. And in regards to gun violence, we don't know how many shootings we stopped. We can't say that. We can't say how many robberies we stopped. We can't tell you how many domestic violence incidents we've stopped. We don't have no way to document that. But knowing the community the way that we do and living in the environment that we live in and bless you, all my degrees are in sociology. I know that if you interject here, you're going to have an impact here. There's just no real way to show how that's happening. But the fact that we're out there and dealing with individuals who are unhoused, and we can get them a warm meal, and we can get them clean clothes and a shower and things like that, I know it's making an impact on the neighborhood. So I really can't.
You have a question? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, Councilmember Spadafore.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. How would you describe your interplay with Partners in Care? And when would a council member reach out to you and not Partners in Care, or reach out to Partners in Care and not you? And I think by answering that question, that would help give me a better understanding of I could kind of surmise, but I just want to hear that from you.
The thing is, reaching out to us gives you the opportunity to not have your business in the streets, for lack of better words. Like, we don't tell people what's going on. We don't collect your information and say you have to follow up with us and you have to check all these boxes to get services. We don't do any of that. Okay, you're a Black female, you're between these ages, and this is what you need. That's all we take from you. A lot of the other agencies, they want to know your name, your address, your date of birth, your social security number. We don't ask for any of that information because we want you to feel safe. You know, another thing is the hubs allow you to come to a home. You're not coming to a social service agency. You're not coming to a building. You know, I've had people call me and they're like, are you sure this is where I'm going? It's a house. And I'm like, yes, I want you to feel safe. I don't want you to walk in there and feel like there's a negative stigma attached to walking into the social service agency. It's a hub. It's in the neighborhood. Nobody driving past would even know that's where you're going. So the difference between us and anyone is that we don't want all your information to document it and to reach back out to you and call you and send you letters and tell you you don't qualify for this, and if you don't meet us by this date, we're not going to help you again. We don't do any of that. If we don't talk to you for 30 days and you come back and you say, hey, I need more diapers, okay, you get more diapers, and that's the end of it. So that's the difference between us and anyone.
Sure. I guess I mean more from like, as a council member, because occasionally people will reach out to us with not an outright criminal situation, but it's just something weird or suspicious. Like, when would I reach out to you about this situation or this person relative to the police or partners in care?
Whenever you want to. We've had it happen. We've actually had the police have reached out to me and said, hey, we have this family, we know they need help, or we have this issue. We don't want to lock the people up. And if we intervene, someone's going to get arrested. So what can you do to intervene and try to get them the services so they don't go that direction? We do that all the time. We don't document it every day when it happens, and we don't document when someone calls us, a city council person calls us and say, hey, we have this issue with this family. Can you, help us out here? We don't document all that. That's a person. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're a city council person. I don't care if you're the chief of police. If you need help, you need help. And we don't hold any of that against you. So we've definitely had people reach out to us.
Thank you. Do you go outside
I'm
those
sorry,
zones for income?
you follow?
2-second question.
Do we go?
Even if the call is for outside those zones?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay. Councilman Oliver.
Yes, I know y'all do a good job. I'm just asking the questions from the individuals who gave me a list of questions from the meeting, so I don't want you to take this personal. But are you doing any intervention? Sounds like you're doing a lot of social work, because this is a social work job. Are you sitting down having group meetings with the individuals who may have issues that's coming into the homes, opposed to, just washing the clothes, feeding them, and I'm glad you're here and you feel good and have a good day? Or are you sitting down doing a survey to see what they may be able, how you may be able to help them, maybe not today, tomorrow, as a follow-up? Or, because I hear you saying they may come today, they may not come for a month. I get that part, but it may be somebody who needs some counseling. 'Cause I thought that's what, this was about individuals or in gangs who have some issues on the streets, and we're supposed to be trying to make sure this doesn't escalate. And some of this sounds, 55% of it sounds like you're doing a lot of social work, and that's what they brought up in the meeting. Because of the high rate of shootings that's occurring in the Northeast area, you're not pulling the trigger, I'm not pulling the trigger, it's nobody's fault, right? But the question was, are they doing anything to prevent, to talk to my son, or should he just be going to GVI Cook? Because Ms. Mason, it just seems like a social worker. So I want to hear that, and then I'm done.
They are definitely engaging with the individuals, with the family. What we have noticed a lot is that the individuals that are in the Wilmington Street team often know the families of the victims or the perpetrators, and there is interaction going on between the family and the individual. That's what we call a license to operate. We call those individuals the people who have relationships. They can go and speak to those individuals in a more not so formal manner, because a lot of times what happens if you try to bring individuals into an agency or into a certain environment to have these conversations, it could not go as well as it could if it's just somebody they know from the family that goes out and speaks to those individuals. That's the first thing the team always talks about is, I think we know these people. This person knows this person better, so you send them out. So we do talk to the families, but in an effort to try to protect them and to not make them feel like their information's being documented, we try to do it more in a more informal way. So it's more of a friendly face coming and knocking on the door rather than in an environment like GVI. GVI is an amazing program, but we are more of grassroots, I guess you could say, where the individuals know the individuals they're meeting with.
But I thought data was important to you. You do keep, because you just said this 2 times, you don't necessarily keep data. You don't write down individuals' name, but I know you do keep data, correct? Because you don't want that on the record that you don't have data.
So there's two types of data that we collect, and it's really, this is really important to the program. So the individual organizations collect a higher level of data than I collect. So they kind of, I guess you can say, wash it before it gets to my level. And they take away all the identifying factors like the names, the addresses, because that information goes into Apricot, which is a system that was purchased from the city. So in an effort to let the person know, listen, your information, the police are not going to have access to your information, the city's not going to have access to your information, they clean it, they scrub it before it gets to me. So all that's identified is maybe the race of the person, the age, and the zone that the zone that they live in. But the organizations, they do collect a high level of data, more than I'm privy to.
All right, thank you. Actually, I had a question about that as well. So because of the fact that when we went to Newark and we kind of went to see what CPSI was about, we did realize that a lot of the people were from the neighborhood, and which was great. One of the things that they talked about that really intrigued me was the fact that because they were in the neighborhoods, a lot of times they heard when things were popping off before it actually happened. I want to know, how often are we having people who are truly intervening before they have to come and talk to someone, like they're preventing something from happening? So I think that might be kind of the question that Councilman Oliver is wanting to hear. Just, if anyone has a story or whatever, just they can relate that they seen where someone was having issues or they've heard or whatever, and they tried to make certain it was some type of restorative way to work on these two people before it escalated.
So I'm sure that Daryl Chambers or Sierra Hall Hipkins has that information from their team. But again, like I said, once it gets to me, that information is very scrubbed. So there is documentation of individuals talking to people, but to give I would need to ask them to provide that data, because I honestly, I don't want to put anyone at risk, knowing that this person may be a perpetrator or maybe somebody who committed a crime. So we try to keep that information out of my hands so that it's not, but they would be able to provide that
Yeah,
information.
Dr. Mason, I totally understand, and I would never want to put anyone in harm's way. I just want to know whether or not that those types of incidents are actually happening. Not literally.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Because I don't want to put anybody in harm's way.
I have a story. My cousin,
Wait a minute.
you guys saved my cousin's life, and I want to say thank you with the street violence and stuff like that. Y'all did it the correct way. We're getting it.
Keandra, if you wanted to come up as to speak, yes, you may. Dr. Mason, would you mind? I said she can sit next to you if she has because I wanted to hear from someone. So the thing is, the reason why I asked for the presentation is because although I understand that Apricot is very different in how you are collecting information, we need the data to be able to show that this is a benefit. And by having everything so vague, it's hard to try to push to make certain that we continue having this. Yeah. So.
Just to follow up, the reason why she's saying that, because you have council members saying, why are we spending this money when we just see all this vague information? That's why I'm trying to be a little bit more detailed, because things are coming to an end. So I'm trying to say it in another way, that we need some more data, because we have council members saying, that's why half of them are not here. They don't see the results. They hear about the hubs. They see this. I know y'all doing a good job, because you've doing a good job in 3rd District from what I can see. But I'm here to tell you that's why she's saying it's very vague. So I think we need to pick up your game a little with the paperwork.
Well, no, my thing is the fact that I would like to expand it because I'm on the west side and I don't benefit from it. So, yeah. All right. So if you would, Dr. Mason, if you would like.
Hi, my name is Keandra McDowell. So this is actually the first time that I am able to put a face with the name of the organization.
Okay.
And a family member of mine had a lot of street violence going on with the other side of the gang or whatever. And GVI and your program got together and got the boys together and talked them into trying to run a business together. Like, it was a whole mess in the city of Wilmington. I mean, a mess. Where it was a mess. I can't even speak on Arca, but it was a mess. But you guys got one side and the other side together, And they are currently now speaking on starting a T-shirt business and a hat press business. And I don't know how they got that possible, because these boys have been fighting a very dangerous fight, a long fight for years. And the numbers do show, I mean, the west side it's safe. It was a point that we couldn't even sit on, you know, I'm not on Second and Roundy without bullets spraying everywhere because of what was going on. And ever since GVI and your program, I never could put a face with a name, and it's nice to meet you. And thank you so much. You saved my cousin's life. Like, I'm trying not to tear up, like you saved my cousin's life, and I really appreciate it. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. Y'all work that y'all do is amazing, and it's different from, like you said, a nonprofit organization, because you have guys and females that are actually from the neighborhood and grew up with a lot of these guys' parents, and they're like, we call them unk in our neighborhoods, right? So it's different than having them come to like a building where it looks like they're being drilled down than coming to a house setting or meeting them where they're at and talking to them. And that's a big difference, because that's part of how I changed my life around, by somebody like this program helping me after I came home from doing 3 years in jail. So it's important that this grassroots organization continues to do what it does, because a lot of the work that you do, unfortunately, can't be documented for certain reasons, because if that's the case, the boys wouldn't talk to you at all. So continue doing what you're doing, and I really appreciate all the work you're doing. It's just amazing to be able to, I'm trying to hold my tears back to put a face to the name. So thank you so much, because my cousin would not be here right now. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. McDowell.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's great to hear. That was basically what I was trying to get to, because although I'm so glad that you gave us a presentation, we've seen these numbers before, but there are stories that we are not able to really relate to, because it's basically mostly happening in Councilwoman Oliver's district. And because, like I said, I am someone who's been cheerleading for this and wanting it to expand in my area, I'm like, I need more. Show us more so I can show why we need it.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely understand what Councilwoman Oliver was saying, but it just goes back to, if we give y'all too much,
Right.
we're not going to be able to get the trust from the community. So I know this. We've talked about this a million times, about the numbers and just being very blanket numbers, but there's a reason. There's a reason. They know, they trust us. They know that we're not going to let their information out. So
Well, I thank you so much for the presentation. Was there anyone else who wanted to share?
Wolf, you want to share?
No, not really.
Sierra,
I think,
come on.
I think that she said enough. McDowell said enough. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you need more than that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Can I ask what data you guys are looking for from us? To,
Oh, yeah, come to the front. And if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
I'm Sierra Hall Hipkins, Executive Director for Network Connect. I was just asking, for one, I want to say thank you for talking on our behalf, because those things that we do, we're intervening. Wolfie Center for Structural Equity and Network Connect are intervening on a regular basis. We do have internal data that we keep ourselves to protect families. We're hosting interventions every single week in the actual neighborhoods, in the hubs. I would welcome you guys to come out if you're in your street clothes. My question was, what kinds of data are you looking for based on what Councilwoman Oliver just explained about other city council members who may not understand or see the impact of the work? What can we do differently and provide you all?
Well, actually, that was the first I heard about it, the way she put it. But we do have to state that there are some who feel as though, like, you know, it may not be the best, in our best interest to keep I don't know how I want to put this, investing in this, that we should go another way. And I'm stating that we see, you know, the changes. I've been talking to Councilwoman Oliver, and I'm like, I can't wait for it to really be able to, we could stop being a pilot and expand. I'm ready for it to be on the west side. I see it, areas that I need it desperately, but right now it is still in its pilot form. And I just wanted to make certain that we had information to be able to present to our administration, like, this needs to still happen. But as you stated, like, we probably have to go back and ask specifically, what can we show you to show you where the data says that things are changing and that we need more of this? And even if you have the capacity to actually expand and make certain that you're able to grow. So, like, that's a conversation we need to have.
Okay, Daryl Wolfie Chambers, the Executive Director of the Center for Structural Equity. First, let's start with the people who we actually employ to do this dangerous work. We only employ individuals who have what we call social capital. those who have the trust of the community, who's able to navigate these socially isolated communities. Because everybody can't go in there and get the information that we need, right?
Right.
The next thing you got to have lived experience. And why is that important? Because you got to make sure that you don't go in there with this judgmental tone. You can't go in there judging a lady who pop perks. You can't go in there judging a young guy who gets high off fentanyl. Like, you just can't do it. So you got to have that level of understanding to even navigate these communities. And lastly, you got to have sweat equity, meaning that you really got to believe that the mission overrides the rule. Because when the rules get in the way of the mission, as Dr. Henry Smith said, you change the rule, not the mission. So you can't go in there thinking that this right here is a moneymaker.
Okay.
Right? So you're not going to get rich out here doing street violence intervention work. So we know that. But more importantly, you said something that I'm just amazed by. City council will even say that when we're seeing historical low shootings in the city of Wilmington, they will say, what is the impact? Like, that right there is an astronomical thing to say. Why would you say that? When you're seeing 2 years of decreases in homicides. And last year, right, when you read the report, you'll say, oh, there's a big, large increase in homicides. But it wasn't the group violent intervention work that we're doing. Though it was in domestic situations where there was assault. So, right, when you talk about the data, I'm really thinking about now, does city council even know what the data is? Like, why would you even ask that when you're seeing these lows, right? To the point to where that we was working with Lisa Blunt Rochester to try to get CVI money. That's community violent intervention money inside the state of Delaware and all across the country with the Bipartisan Act, right? Billions and billions of dollars got filtered through all over the country.
Right.
Delaware got a piece of that money. And then I was sitting back and I'm thinking that President Trump came and he wiped away all that with the stroke of a pen. And yet Delaware, when everybody was closing, Office of Violence Prevention, we were opening them up. And I asked them, well, how are we able to do this? It's because of the work that we've seen being done in Wilmington that we're trying to replicate throughout the state. So city council is saying we shouldn't have something that the entire state's saying this is something that we're looking at as the benchmark of how we should move forward. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So the other thing is this right here, and I want you to look at it from a data or evaluation perspective. And we're going to look at it in 4 different quadrants. The first quadrant is the ideal state. That's where we want to be at. The 4th quadrant, we don't never want to get there ever again, right? So in the 4th state, look what you see. A lot of police calls, right? So that's an increase in police calls, a decrease in activities, meaning street activity where these people who are licensed to train to operate on the streets trying to resolve the issue. That's the worst state. We agree with that?
Okay.
Whole lot of police calls, nobody out there doing nothing from the community. The second one only requires a little bit of effort. We got a whole lot of police calls, and we got people in the community trying to respond to it, right? That means that we got effort. See, right, because this right here is a process model. See the process? Right? Now we got increase. We ain't get it done yet, but we're going to go out there. We're still trying to attract it. We're still trying to attack it. In the second model, what you have, or the second quadrant, what you have is, now you have low police calls, low dispatch calls, but you have high interaction or intervention from the Wilmington Street Team, right? And that's right there, the data that she presented just now.
Right.
Quadrant 2. So you got to ask yourself, what is quadrant 1? Low police calls, low interaction from the Wilmington Street Team. Why? Because now we're in our ideal state. We might not never get there, but our goal is always try to get there through the process. So I'm thinking that if we're in quadrant 2, which is right next to the ideal state, because of the data said it, she said it. She said that there are low police calls in the last 90 days in some area, but there's high interaction, high intervention, high mediation, high de-escalation, and city council is saying, where the data at? No, here's my thing right here, and I want to ask city council, is that I want to know your 5 top priorities. And I want to know if gun violence is in there, right? Street violence that everybody's claiming that is something that right there can destroy our city. Is it in there? And then I want to see if it's matching up in the budget. Because a person already told me, you can always tell what's important by what's in the budget. So I want to see if it's in the budget. Because this right here is ARPA money. This money's going to go away. But we'll see. Because my thing is that even when you look at the science, the social science, When you have an intervention that's working in certain areas, it's unethical not to move it to a different area. You're supposed to actually stop the research project at that point right there and apply that intervention throughout whatever the subject matter is. And I'll leave you with that right there. And any question you have for me, I'm willing to answer.
All right. So I just wanted to make certain that you were clear that that information that came from Councilman Oliver, I did not have that information. The reason why I asked you to give me a before and after, because that's kind of what I want to present, because I need for them to be able to see the difference in the numbers. And that was, I asked for a report to reflect that. I hear what you're saying, and I would like to be able to finally see it expand. Like, you've been doing this for about 3 years now over on the east side and the northeast area. And I'm like, now I feel like I don't want to have an issue of displacement or anything. I want to make certain that at some point we finally got even coverage of the program, but that will take time. But for now, just if we can just get it to the next step, get it to another district and to another district. Yep. I'm willing to do that. I want to do it that way if that's what needs to happen. But in order to do that, I got to make certain that I give that data to the administration, and that's why I want to see before and after where we are.
Okay,
now,
just
understand?
call me.
Yeah.
Just call me, and I'll show you the annual report from the state of Delaware, from the city of Wilmington, from the chief, that says that there has been decline in these areas right here over the last couple of years. And this right here, what it looks like. And this right here, even with the people who we serve, you will see that there's greater satisfaction there. You know what I'm saying? So we got you. Right. Because it should be expanded, because our kids' lives are at stake. Yeah, and it's your job and my job to make sure we instill hope that tomorrow offer better opportunity than today. And we can do that through any data presentation. Just let me know and we'll bring it to them. Okay. We can do it at Panera Bread, or we can do it down here at City Council.
Can I say one last thing, though?
Yes, you may.
I just want to say that in the last report that we provided, I believe it was the end of year report, we definitely defined what a community encounter is, and things like that. So I think that's really important for people to understand actually what the community encounter is, to know that a lot of the things that you're asking, well, not you in particular, but if they're asking is what is being done, that community encounter, there's so much that happens in the community encounter, but we don't document, information that could be harmful to the person that we're trying to help. But it is being documented.
Oh, Kendra.
Just to make a suggestion, when you do, it might be nice to have a report that's more comparative. So I don't know if you have access to that information, but looking at dispatch calls in other areas, even if it's not the entire city, certain other key areas of the city versus the areas where CPSI is enforced, and then possibly maybe a few months pre-CPSI, just to show the difference in CPSI's work since you've been working now for more than a year, is to really be able to capture the difference and show comparatively with other areas where CPSI is not yet implemented.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that for longevity purposes, we're going to be meeting with the mayor this week to talk about CPSI. But we have to be reassured of where we stand at with the administration to prolong this endeavor. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. I do see Councilman Johnson has his hand up. Oh, I wasn't even aware. Councilman Johnson, did you still need to ask a question? I took it down.
Yes. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Mason and Dr. Chambers. I remember the original iteration of Cease Violence Wilmington, working with him, and we had positive results then. And unfortunately, we pulled back that programming after a few years. So I really hope we don't repeat that same mistake with CPSI this time. I was part of the team that went to Newark with Councilwoman McCoy, Councilwoman Oliver, and others. And this is something we can't make the mistake again. So certainly we're going to work with the administration to make this happen. But I love hearing about the positive results, and I thank you. It's a blessing to the city. So thank you for the work that you do, your whole team, and we're in your corner 100%. I know many of us on council, so we just got to get all of us on board. Thank you.
We needed that. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't want you to feel that like any type of slight or anything. The people that I've been having these conversations with, we all want to see you expand. We have had that recent shooting, just a few days ago, and those type of things definitely weigh heavier on people where they have to be more responsible for certain areas. And so she has questions that have to be answered for those parents and everything for that, because of that circumstance. So I just want to make you aware, we do not want to attack. I wanted you to be here. This was prior to that happening because I really wanted to be able to get that information and make certain that we can bring that before administration and say, see, this is why we think we still need them and why it's supposed to expand. We shouldn't be still at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes I just feel like, this is me personally, I feel like CPSI and Wilmington Street Team has been held at this level, and sometimes I think that's a little unfair to us, that we are expected to get rid of every shooting that's ever going to happen in the city of Wilmington. And that's just not going to happen overnight. It took years for us to get here, and it's going to take years for us to go away. And when I say we work on a shoestring budget and staff every single day, we are asking these individuals to do way more than what the average person is doing in any job. These individuals wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, they're out. Sometimes they're out at 3 o'clock in the morning. I get a text from the chief of police, and I say, my team's already there. That's what matters, and that's what, we don't want to put anybody's business and we're not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. And I just want to say that I'm not going to put people's personal information, their lives, in a data report. I'm not going to do that. So thank you.
I did have one thing. It's funny that you just brought that up, and it was about the shoestring budget. Looking at all that you've been doing, how have you been able to? All of these meals and all of these bus passes and, tell me a little bit more about how you've been able to gather those type of resources.
A lot of it is out of our pocket. Honestly, we're having an event tomorrow, and I'm literally leaving here and going to Costco and purchasing enough food to feed at least 100 people. That's out of my pocket. So there's so much of the work that we do on a regular basis that comes from our pocket, that comes from donations. We reach out to people all the time. The Hub, Woodlawn donated that house to us until 2026. We don't pay rent there. And then the city is so gracious to pay our utilities. But there are so many resources that people give us. Okay. But again, a lot of it is really out of our own pockets. A lot of the meals, we have team members who go out and ask for donations. We do so much out of our own pockets that's why we're able to do a lot of the things that we do.
Okay.
So
thank you for making me aware.
Thank you.
Those are the types of stories we needed to hear about what's going on, and I'm glad that you're able to share with the city of Wilmington.
Thank you so much.
All right.
May I be excused, ma'am?
You may. So I thank you so much to CPSI for their presentation. We do not have anything that needs to be voted out of the committee or anything. I thank all those who came out to support CPSI in their presentation, and I look forward to getting some more information and being able to deliver it. And please reach out to us as you need to when it comes to some of the needs, because we do have discretionary funds. We have our at-large people, so it's not all just. It won't always be on the shoulders of Councilwoman Oliver.
I'm sorry.
I said, no, I'm just saying. So it won't always be on the shoulders of Councilwoman Oliver. Please reach out to us as you need, if you need any assistance. Okay? All right.
My team is awesome.
Well, yes, they are. I'm so glad that they all came out.
Thank you so much.
All right. I said, you have a good evening.
As well, thank you.
All right. So now, actually, I have no one left. I only got Chris. I say, I would like to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, we don't need a motion? Oh, okay. All right, then we're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you
Second.
very much for participating, City of Wilmington. Thank you so much for staying to the end, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you.
All right, you have a
Bye-bye.
great evening.